Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Matt Bernier. The DRF Bets race of the day for Wednesday, March the 28th, race number 7 at Tampa Bay Downs. We are on the turf. If you sign up for a DRF Bets account, you will immediately access a $150 bonus. All you have to do, go to drf.com/join. Please type in the promo code TV150. Let's take a look at this field. It's an entry-level allowance race. You can access free formulator past performances on the Race of the Day event page, drf.com. Download them, handicap along with us. We'll take the field in post-position order. Matt, the speed's down towards the rail. That's the recent maiden winner, Classy Woman.
Yeah, she didn't really beat much as far as that field is concerned. You've had a couple of horses return. The fifth-place finisher earned a 71 buyer in the next start. The fourth-place finisher was the next out winner with a 62. I think the speed is the important piece to note with this filly because I don't think there's a ton of other confirmed early gas in here. And if you think that there's a scenario where she can get out there and set similar fractions to what she did last time, you see a half mile in 49 and 3. If she can do that, I suppose it's not impossible for her to get brave on the front end.
8-1 on the morning line for a solid barn. The Timeform U.S. pace projector does have her out there on a pretty easy lead, as we see from the projector. We've got her out there over the 3 Summer Suite, and she's so lightly raced, I wouldn't be surprised if there's another forward move, but she may need that. This is a pretty good group of allowance sources. The 2 is Magic Hitter, and as we see from the pace projector, Magic Hitter is going to need some hitting up front because she is a confirmed closer. I kind of like the way she's coming into this race, stretching out, had a dirt prep in the first start off the long layoff. I don't think the connections expected too much. I'm guessing this was the spot, the turf route in the second start back. She earned a 105 Timeform U.S. speed rating on turf 2 back. That's very competitive with these horses, but you also could make the argument she was really helped by a fast pace that day.
Yeah, certainly. Again, Timeform US, they had all those fractions color-coded red to help her close into that. But at the same time, if you go through and look at any of those 3 most recent turf races from a buyer standpoint or from a Timeform standpoint, she fits in here beautifully. The concern for me, she's 1 for 11. She's run second or third on 7 different occasions. I wonder if she's a little bit more of a nibbler necessarily than a winner.
But when you go back to watch that turf race on September the 10th, you'll notice that she was forced about 6 paths wide all the way around the turn into the stretch, and she still was making up a little bit of ground. You give her a little bit of pace, I think she'll come with a run. She's 9-2 on the line, and she's worth considering. The 3 is Summer Suite, and Summer Suite chased a pretty quick pace, I thought, last time out at a similar level on January the 13th, facing a solid horse. Evasive Storms come back to buy her in the mid-70s on a couple of occasions. Summer Suite's got that good tactical speed. We've got her second on the Timeform U.S. pace projector, and if Classy Woman doesn't class up, this horse might take over turning for home.
Yeah, if you're a fan of this horse, you hope the pace projector is 100% accurate, where you can park just off of the speed. You think you're probably better. You brought up the horse's Evasive Storm. That next race with a 73. The winner that day, Pauline Revere, came back with the 74. So she fits in here as far as the company she's been facing. Another one, though, a 1 for 13. It makes me a little bit concerned. Are you going to be able to get over the hump here?
The 2-horse Magic Hitter's coming off of a second off a layoff angle. So's Leela's Gift. Leela's Gift returned off a very long layoff, and I thought she worked out a decent trip in that race. Sitting the pocket, very minor traffic in mid-stretch, but she stayed on okay. And if you think she can move forward off of that race, the blinkers come off, I think she has a good chance from a tactical spot, maybe sitting 3rd or 4th. The 7th horse from that last race came back to win with a 76 buyer, albeit against much weaker horses.
Yeah, I guess to me, that's kind of this filly's the X factor here, because as much as I wanted to like her, I looked at that last trip like you did and said, I thought all things considered it was a pretty good trip, and she just didn't really fire. I know there's a little bit of traffic down the lane, but the fact that the 7th place finisher, again, it was against weaker, but the 76 buyer from the 7th place finisher, it at least makes me wonder, is that race a little bit better than it looks at face value? And if that's the case, you get Centeno aboard for a high percentage outfit. There's a scenario where this horse might actually just be the layover of this race, where if she goes off at 7-2, that may end up being tremendous value.
I agree, and although she did have the good trip, maybe short off of that long layoff and liable to improve second time back. Cinder is the number 5, and I think you could argue that Cinder was hindered a little bit, along with Nepali Spirit, the number 6, by a kind of moderate to slow pace in their most recent start. Cinder's a horse, though, 2 starts at Tampa Bay this meet, just hasn't done much running, and is only 2 for 24 lifetime.
I think the tough thing for her at these Tampa races anyway, Tampa, again, the turf course has been a little bit speed friendly, where if you're in position or you have some tactical speed, it goes a long way. She's a horse that does her best running from off of it, and in both of those races, she caught relatively paceless races, so she's been up against it, but you bring up a good point. She's never hit the board in 3 starts at Tampa.
Nepali Spirit was listed as a vet scratch in between the January 13th and February 10th run, and then was confronted with that really blue color-coded slow time form U.S. pace last time out. I like the way that she was making up at least a little bit of ground towards the end of that race against our good friend Evasive Storm, who came back with his usual 75 Beyer speed figure. Unfortunately, Nepali Spirit may not get another good pace scenario, but I do like that Nacho Correas has gotten 5 workouts into her. It looks like she's feeling good again. Remember, again, a vet scratch before that February 10th race. Maybe she's feeling good. All she needs is pace.
Yeah, she needs a little pace, but I think she may be coming out of one of the better races overall, because you brought up Evasive Storm. We've seen that horse. The winner that they infused came back and earned a 77 Beyer in the next start. And again, on a day where I thought speed did pretty well on the turf course, she actually made up some ground late against those blue slow fractions. So I think there's a lot of things to like about her. The question again becomes, does she get the pace that she needs?
We've talked about several contenders. Now we'll talk about the horse that I think is way the horse to beat. And that's the number 7, Believe Indeed, who's coming off of a 106 time form U.S. speed figure, a 77 Beyer speed figure. She really is the fastest horse in the race coming in, and she's coming again. She just was facing a top horse last time out at the starter handicap ranks. German Street's now won 4 in a row, and her last 5 on turf. And Believe Indeed, boy, the way Daniel Centeno was riding her going into the turn, it looked like she had German Street's number, and German Street for the 2nd straight race absolutely said no. Is it a situation that German Street's just a better horse than Believe Indeed, and Believe Indeed's getting the class relief she needs? Or is that 8-time second place finish number on Believe Indeed's record starting to get to your mind?
Yeah, I mean, certainly it creeps in when you look at a horse. This is usually the kind of horse that I'm jonesing to bet against or take a shot against, because you have all those minor awards. But there is something, I think, to the idea of going through and looking, and maybe German Street is just a better horse, because I agree with you. At the top of the lane, I thought Believe Indeed was going to go by and win for fun, and she ends up actually losing ground as they go later into the race. I thought it was a fine effort. I thought they rode the horse the way that they were supposed to, get her into the run, and I think that's the thing important with this race here. Don't just think that those other horses are going to come back to you. Be aggressive, be forwardly placed. I'm not saying press the pace throughout, but if you sit a length or 2 off of it, maybe that's enough to get the job done with this little bit of class relief.
Certainly classes up very well with this field. The 8's card spun. You could say she's 2 for 61. I like to look at it the glass half full. She's 1 for her last 2. She also, her Beyer speed figures are just very light, and she's taking a big step up in class.
Yeah, she's going to need to improve from a Beyer standpoint in a pretty serious way.
Algiers Point completes the field, finished behind Believe Indeed last time out. That was kind of an interesting race in that it was very slow early, and then they sped up down the backstretch. German Street and Believe Indeed really started racing from the half-mile pole to the wire. Algiers Point made up a little bit of late ground. Do you think she's the kind of horse that really is pace-dependent?
Yeah, it kind of seems like it. You go to that run 3 starts back where she won the non-winners of 2, and even that start 2 back where she was a little bit closer to the pace. All things considered, she did it against weaker company with some pace to run at. I don't know that she gets the pace, and she faces tougher horses here. She's a pass for me.
Let's take a look at our top selections for the Wednesday DRF Bets race of the day. You're going with Believe Indeed, and let's be honest, if Believe Indeed goes off at the 5-2 morning line, that is more than fair.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's a pretty accurate number. You could even go lower than that, 2-1, 9-5. I think the thing, though, if you go too much lower than that, that's when that 8-time second starts to creep into my head. At 5-2, I would certainly take a chance and just, chalk it up and say maybe she was just being beat by a better horse.
No doubt that Nepali Spirit, my top horse in this race, must improve from a Beyer speed figure standpoint. She's so lightly raced, I think a forward move is coming. She was kind of against the grain last time out, not a lot of pace. She was making up a little bit of ground. Maybe not the kind of horse that you want to really lean on to win or in any kind of multiple race wagers, but certainly one to use at a big price, 10-1 on the morning line. I think also that Leela's Gift's a horse that has to be respected, second off the layoff with her tactical speed. Matt's going with the 7, Believe Indeed, a must-use in multiple race wagers. I'll go 6-4-7-2 in the DRF Bets race of the day. Again, if you're playing this Tampa Bay Wednesday card from home, please consider DRF Bets because you get a $150 sign-up bonus when you sign up for a new account. drf.com/join is where you need to go. Promo code is TV150. An approximate post time for the 7th at Tampa Bay Downs is 3:50 Eastern. Best of luck.